Oh, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Speaking with Confidence, the show where I coach humble leaders, whether you're a public servant, a business owner, or a fellow corporate hippie like me, how to speak with authority, with authenticity, and with confidence so you can make the positive impact in the world that you want to make. Now, I am ridiculously excited for this particular episode because it is a real life coaching episode. Yes, it's a confident communication coaching episode. And why do I do these? Because I'm a big believer in working out loud. And when you sign up for one of my complimentary confident communication coaching calls, you agree to have the call published here as a podcast, but you also get to share that experience with you, the listener. And as listeners, you get to hear just how normal it is to have challenges in all sorts of different conversations. So today's conversation is with Caitlin. Now, Caitlin runs a pet photography business. I'm going to pop the link to her business in the show notes because, oh my goodness, her photos are stunning, absolutely stunning. And she has, over the years, grown her business to have a number of photographers working with her. And she reached out because one of the challenges that she has, like many small business owners, she doesn't like the sales process. And she, in particular, feels like she's putting on a bit of a hard sell when people are asking for her packages. There's another part of the process too that you'll hear in the call around how she then walks her clients through which photos to buy and how to package them up. And because Caitlin is so resistant, so reluctant, so concerned about sounding pushy, that particular conversation has been a bit confusing. So she hasn't felt good about it, and she's aware that it's possibly holding her back. Not to mention, it's just doesn't feel great. So in this coaching call, I'm walking Caitlin through a number of different ways to, one, change how she perceives selling from that awful hard sales process that are all we are all reluctant and avoidant of. We've all had that experience of, the used car salesman and all that kind of stuff, and we don't want to be seen as that person. So I walk Caitlin through how to shift that mindset from pushy sales to being of service. Honestly, sales is the highest form of service you can have, particularly when somebody's already expressed interest in what you offer. I'm also walking Caitlin through how to think with the end in mind, how to set up in her own mind first where she wants to take her client so she can more easily articulate it. And you'll hear, we role play a couple of different ways of having the conversations, and you'll hear the clarity that she gets. So, as I said, this is a very different episode to a normal one, but I actually think it's probably far more valuable than some of my recent monologues. It is a little longer because it's a full coaching call. Well worth listening in for. Once you hear the end of the interview finish, please stick around because I've got a couple of closing notes just to round things out. So enjoy this confident communication conversation with Caitlin.
So welcome to a confidence coaching call. Tell me, what had you like? Why are you here? How can I help today?
So, I've been running my photography business for about 15 years, and up until the last year or so, it was a solo one woman show, and kind of just, doing my thing. And then I expanded about 12 months ago, and now I have a team. And I have moved out of photographer role and more into sales and manager, I guess. And so where I was just winging it on sales before and at expos and all of that kind of thing, it's now a lot more important in my head anyway. I now have other people who are relying on me being able to speak
Uh-huh.
confidently. And so, yeah, I've been trying to learn more about it and love your podcast. So here I am.
Awesome. How's the transition been to manager from solo?
Good overall. I like because I was doing it for such a long time, I'd sort of um, had lost the shine of running my business. So it's been really nice to have a whole new thing to learn and the challenge and all of that. But it's been a really big learning process. So sorry, you just cut out there.
Yeah, okay, that's all right.
Oh,
We'll
no,
just do
there
that.
it is.
How big's the team now?
So there is 4 photographers, an editor, and an admin assistant. So
Wow.
6 and me.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is
it's a big change from
yeah.
just doing
And did
my own
that
little
just
thing for so long.
I was going to say, did that just happen kind of overnight? Was it a very quick transition from 1 to 6?
It was so I had my second son and I realized I had to let go a little bit of the control freakiness and
Just a
outsource a
little.
little bit more. Yeah, just a touch. I was like, it's just, I can't do the editing and the photography. So the editor was the first person that I brought on, and she sort of opened my eyes to the power of delegating. And a little bit, I think I had that artist's ego for so long of, I'm the only person that can do this. Like, I'm all that. Not that I would have admitted that's what I thought, but I think that's what I thought is I can't possibly train someone to do what I've spent so long learning how to do. And then it turned out I can, and I'm not all that. So then I thought, okay, I'll dip my toe into hiring photographer
Mm.
and see whether or not I can train them. And that was just game changer, being able to have photographers at all different locations, and me not having to be the person behind the camera, so then I can focus on the client side of things and growing the business and all of that. So
I I just think that's so exciting. Like
it's
what
exciting. It's exciting, but um I'm very introverted, and that was a really steep learning curve going from I really didn't have anyone else to report to, talk to, anything other than like 1 day a week clients. But other than that, I was just sort of head down doing my own thing. And now having people asking me questions all day, every day, that's been a really difficult transition, I guess, to wrap my head around. I'm getting more used to it now. But at the start, I was like, why are these people talking to me? Oh, because I hired them.
and they want me to tell them what to do.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, because that's what they're like, they need to. But yeah, that was a bit hard.
That's hilarious. And relatable too. Like totally relatable. Okay, so tell me about then the sales process that you used to use and that you're now using and where you feel, I don't know, I'm going to say where you feel it's not enough now. Like, what's the difference?
I think that my strategy used to be sort of just leave it up to the client, and they'll tell me, and I'm just there to facilitate um, with photographers, what they're usually buying is like prints for the wall, photo books, that kind of thing. But I was very submissive, I guess, in my sales strategy, because I'm a people pleaser, and my worst nightmare would be that someone felt like it was a hard sell process.
Yep.
And then now that I'm not, so I used to just have like emails that would go out beforehand, and then we would have a Zoom sales call. And now that I'm not the person on the photo shoot with them, I've moved into having a phone call, like a 15-minute phone call with them before the session. And that's sort of one to answer any questions that they have, but more so that I can start to seed what we could be purchasing. And then the sales call now is a lot more guided, but I still can hear myself questioning everything that I'm saying.
Right.
So yeah, there's that, and I do a lot more expos and like in-person events selling sessions now, and that's sort of the same thing as I have this thing of I don't know that I don't want to sound up myself, and I don't want to sound sleazy.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it, that we assume that as soon as we start selling, we're going to sound sleazy. And
Yeah,
yet, people who come to you, they're wanting photos of their dogs. They're wanting photos of their dogs with them. And therefore, your role is to actually help them get what they want, not necessarily sell them. Like people,
yeah,
by very definition of your service, people are coming to you saying, please give me something. Please give me something that I can hang on the wall, that I can smile at, that I can look at. But we still feel, oh, but I'm going to be pushing them down something that they don't want.
yeah.
When you talk about your sales process, and those 15-minute calls that you're having with the client now before your photographers go out and do the shoot, are you, well, I'm guessing there's two parts of the process. There's what you do at the expos, where you actually lock in the shoot, and then there's the locking in the sales of the actual post, basically the production of the photos. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah.
And the more valuable part for your business is the sale of the actual photos?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So when you have those calls, if you're having them beforehand, you're obviously starting to seed, after the shoot, you'll have the opportunity to buy all these different packages. Have you packaged that up at all? Like, do you offer a basic pack, a mid pack, and a silver, the gold
Yeah, I
platinum?
have so the our structure is basically Walla is a la carte. And then they're deciding between an album or the digitals or a box of prints. And those are sort of packaged.
Okay. And how do your clients respond to that process at the moment?
I feel like at the moment they find it a bit confusing. And
Yeah.
I don't think that I explain it very well, even though in my head I think I've made it less confusing by not having lots of different numbers and lots of different options. But I don't communicate it very well.
Okay. Pretend I'm a client for a moment.
Okay.
Explain that part of the process to me. Just tell me as if we're on a sales call and just walk me through those different options.
Okay. So first we've made the short list of photos, and then I would bring up some different mock-ups of how these could potentially be displayed together on the wall. So we've got a variety of, like, you might just want a statement hero piece, or maybe you want a main piece with some smaller ones next to it, and I would be showing them on the Zoom screen. So typically we would then lock in, okay, that's what we're doing with the prints, that's what's going up on the wall. And then for all the rest of your favorites, because we can't wallpaper your house with your dog's photos, we can choose a collection. And the way that the collections work is they're priced based on the number of photos that you're getting. So that's the first thing that we narrow down. And then you're going to choose how you want to display those photos. It's the same price for the three different display options. So you're purely choosing based on what speaks to you. So the three different options are a photo album, which we would design together, and that way we can have series of photos side by side. The print box, which is individual matted prints in a keepsake box, or the master digital files, which then give you the freedom to print and do whatever you would with them, basically.
Okay. And the price variation is in the number of photos?
Yes.
Okay. So what I think is happening in
Yeah.
how you're describing it is because you're focusing on the number of photos, and that's actually what makes a difference. That's the lead. Whereas actually the lead for the customer needs to be more along the lines of, okay, what do we do with the rest of the photos? We've just chosen 5 that we're going to hang on the wall in this format, but you've selected 25 that are your faves. I can work with you to develop a photo box, to develop an album, or I can just give you the master files. Doesn't matter which of the formats that we work with. Where this becomes the difference in price is how many photos. So let me just show you what a photo box looks like. Let me show you what a photo album looks like. Let me show you what the master files looks like. And then it's up to you on how many photos.
Yep, that makes way more sense. God damn.
It's funny. I was reviewing a client's website yesterday, and a similar thing came up. It's because when we often develop our sales process based on our internal process. The client doesn't care about the internal process. The client cares about what the thing is that they're actually going to
Mm.
receive. Yeah. So give that a go. Just again, pretend like I'm a client, and you're now talking me through how we work. What happens with the extra shots. So I'll prompt you. Okay, cool. So we've just selected 3 photos that we're going to hang on the wall. I'm really excited about that, but I've got 25 other photos that I've just selected. What do we do with them?
Okay, well, we've got 3 different options. Totally up to you. Let me walk you through the different ways that we could potentially display these. So the first is the story album, basically a photo book that we would design together. The nice thing about that is that we can choose which photos are going to be side by side. This is how it looks, blah, blah, blah. Um, and then the second option is a print box. So this is great if you want to swap out which photo is on display. Maybe you have a couple that you want to gift to people. Maybe you have one that you want to take into the office, that sort of thing. So they're individual matted prints. And then the third option is the master files. So those are the high resolution, giant, big files that you can print and do whatever you want with. So they're really great for people who just want that flexibility to have the files and use them however they want in the future.
Awesome. What's the difference in price?
There is absolutely no difference in price between these 3. I just want you to pick whichever one is actually going to make you happy in your house. So whatever you think that you want to do with the photos, that's the way that we would. That doesn't make sense.
No, it actually does. I was actually about to say that's
Okay.
perfect. That's perfect.
Okay.
So, why did you feel like it didn't make sense?
Um, it felt like I was just stumbling and saying words that didn't actually mean anything in reply to the answer of what's the difference in price.
Yeah, okay. All right. So that's just practice. I
Okay.
think for you that you said it beautifully to start with. There's absolutely no difference in price between those 3 options. I just want you to choose what's best for your family and what's best for your household.
Okay. But
The
then it
key,
feels like that there is a difference in price. Or I just wait until we get to how many they've chosen. Yes, that's better.
okay. Well, and so if that's the thing, you say there is no difference on those 3 formats. How we charge is based on number of photos. So
Yeah.
regardless of whether you choose album, box, or digital files, it's all based on a quantity or the number of photos. And we do it,
Yeah.
I'm guessing you do it in brackets. 1 to 15
Yeah.
photos is,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Um, the I think the trick too is just to be okay. Like it's what I call speaking to your full stops. So what's the difference in price? There's no difference in price between the 3 different formats. How we price it is based on the number of photos. Full
Yeah.
stop. They'll then say something else, or they'll then come into the next piece. You also said at the top of the call that you now that you're selling on but for all these other people, you're responsible. you're kind of bumping into a little bit of is this good enough or something like that. I can't quite remember the words that you
Yeah.
said. Tell me about how you're doing your sales process at expos and locking in the shoots.
So I typically chat to them first about their dog and get a little bit of info about who their dog is and why they love them. And then I lead into, can I show you a bit of what we do? I have some sample prints. So I sort of walk them through the process of an outdoor photography shoot, which is what we do, versus what people will typically imagine in the like white background, very stark look. So I walk them through our sort of approach. And then I end it by saying, can I tell you a bit about the special that we're running for this
Nice.
weekend?
What's your hit rate on that?
Um,
Roughly.
I'd say probably 1 in 10
Really?
at a big expo. Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty good. 10% conversion
It's
rate.
hard to get people to actually like 10% conversion if I can have that conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
The actual stopping people to have that conversation is a lot more difficult.
Mm. Yeah, I can imagine. And I mean it's a service that people either need to have already been thinking about
Mm.
or they are so instantly compelled to stop. Like and I mean it'd almost be like a framed print out on an easel at the front of your stand
Yeah.
saying, "Want one of these for your pet, for your dog?" Is that what you do? How do you actually get people into the
So the way that I've found has been working lately is I'll be running a giveaway so that I can sort of be out the front of the stand has lots of big pet photography photos, but when it's a pet expo, every stand has lots of big pet photos. But I'll say, would you like to win a photo shoot with your dog? And
mm-hmm.
then that way I can get them to enter their lead and
Mm,
then I can strike up a conversation.
mm. I like that.
I
I
don't know
like
why you wouldn't want to win a free photo shoot with your dog, but lots of people say no. It's fine. The expos are good. I just feel like I'm dying inside when I'm doing the sales chat.
What if you shifted feeling like it was a sales conversation and instead it was a helping conversation?
Mm,
It's um, a service-based conversation, and the only people you're talking to are the people who have already expressed interest, the people who are already going, "Ooh, how do I get a photo that looks like that of me and my dog?"
yeah.
And then it's less of a dying inside and it's more of a how can I help? How can I be of service to you? I think, do you go into these expos with a oh, what's the word? Like an anticipated number of sales that you want to make or an anticipated number of
Yeah.
leads?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you make those numbers most of the time?
Yes. But I like hustle to make them. I'm sweating the whole time. But I have a little bit of, I always want to beat my last year's score at an expo. So it's like a self
Yeah.
imposed anxiety that I put on myself.
Are we hilarious? The shit that
Yeah,
we
I
do to
know.
ourselves. I feel like, because what I'm hearing is that your sales process is fantastic and your sales conversation is great.
Okay.
And as I look at you now and as you and I talk, I can't imagine you being pushy or hustly or anything like that. There is certainly when you're confronted with 9 people out of 10 saying no thanks, it's just like, oh
Yeah.
man.
Please let me photograph your dog.
Yeah, please, because I think it's amazing.
You'll really like it, I promise.
Yeah. But and I think maybe the trick is to not take those 9 out of 10 um, personally, and instead go, okay, next,
Yeah.
okay, on one more, on one, because that's, I mean, that is the nature of expos, right? Like people are walking through their window shopping. They're
Yeah.
window shopping, and some of them are there as a way to kill time. Some of them are there to find out the, I don't know, whatever. I don't know. I'm not a passionate enough pet owner to have ever gone to a pet expo. Um, but but they're not there to talk to you about having their photos taken with their dog.
Mm.
They're there to see what's going on. So maybe it's reframing how you see those ones who keep walking past.
Yeah.
I have a little post-it note on my computer that says, in order to connect with my people, I also need to show up for the people who aren't my people. And so every time I get a negative reaction on social media, or every time somebody goes, "Oh, that's garbage," I just go, "Cool." It means I'm closer to my people, because it's like a Harry Potter filter sorting hat. I can't get to my people without sorting out the people who aren't.
Mm.
So maybe, I don't know, whatever that looks like for you.
Yeah, I think that's a good insight because this fear of um that someone's going to be mad that I'm charging for photography, I think is like this deep fear that, or maybe it's just that I'm still like, but yeah, it's like a thing of like not really, but I flip-flop, but I don't really believe in the value, but then I do when I see it's hard when for yourself, if you've been doing it for a long time, it feels like anyone can do this. And then I don't know,
Yeah.
sort
Yeah.
of
Okay.
it sometimes it feels like, oh my God, I'm ripping people off. And then I look at my cost of doing business and I'm like, no, I'm not. But then I just flip-flop between these.
I just paid $25 for an omelette that was made with 3 eggs.
Yeah,
You
okay.
know, like,
Yeah.
you're not ripping people off. And I think I completely get though what you're saying, because you've been doing it for so long. To you, it's easy. Well, why can't everybody do this? Why do they need to pay me or pay my team to take photos of their dog? The answer is they don't. They've got all those selfies, they've got all those phone photos, but
Yeah.
not one photo that they've taken themselves is worthy of being hung on a wall.
Yeah.
That's the difference. It's
I
not
do
taking a
know
photo.
that. I do know that.
I know you know
But
that.
my head is like, yeah, I just get in this thing of like, never mind, I'll just give it off to you for free. I don't know.
Mm.
Well, I don't, but I like that's what I
Yeah.
want to do in the sales call is like if someone's like, oh, it's expensive. Like,
Yeah, it is.
yeah.
And look at what we produce. Look at what's put up on the wall. Um, I think there's also something too around owning owning the, I mean, yes, this is I'm going to call it a luxury item.
Yeah.
Nobody needs photos of their dogs on their wall in order to survive. So therefore, one, the people that you're talking to are in a certain income bracket. They are already spending on all sorts of other unnecessary, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not a luxury item. Discretionary. They
Mm.
are spending their money on discretionary items already. They have already fitted out their home in beautiful lounges and soft furnishings. They've probably got beautiful photos of their family, but what they haven't captured yet is a beautiful photo of them and their dog. Knowing that, you can kind of tap into, well, actually, well, what's the mindset? What do they value? What is it that they're looking for, as distinct to you feeling like, oh yeah, but this is really expensive. It's actually
Yeah.
not. It's not expensive. Mm. Um, I also want to say it's perfectly normal. Like every time we're selling our own chisel, but am I good enough? Is it like
Yeah.
I bump into this all the time? And you just get better at saying it anyway.
Okay.
How else can I help?
That
Has
is
that
really
helped?
helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is really helpful. I feel like, especially actually the sales call and explaining it that other way,
Mm.
and doing full sentences. I have a tendency to, and then I feel like I over explain and I over chat, and I have to remind myself to, okay, now be quiet and just let them have a moment.
Yeah. And I think the when we give too many options or when we over explain, it does feel confusing. Whereas if we just say, this is what happens next,
Mm.
then people go, oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. So when's your next sales call?
This afternoon.
Awesome sauce. Let, let me know how it
I
goes.
will. Thank you so much. That was really, really helpful.
You are so very, very, very welcome. I love that you booked in the call.
How good was that? Seriously, how good was that? And did you hear yourself in any of those conversations or those concerns that Caitlin had? That that avoidance, that concern of being seen as being pushy, or that constant inner dialogue of questioning yourself, even when you're sitting there with their client and they're oohing and ahhing and asking for what you have, but you're still thinking, oh, but I don't want to be seen as somebody who's it's we are fascinating humans. We really, really are. I particularly liked how in this conversation we shifted from feeling like it's a sales process that is pushing people into something that they don't want, but instead setting it up so it clearly takes them through the process so they can have what they want. A confused mind says no. And particularly in that conversation that Caitlin is having with her clients after they've seen all their photos, after they've selected the ones that they want to keep, being really clear and using the visuals of how we can package them up helps her clients to move forward with for the sales process, for them, for the beautiful process of getting photos of their pets, how she can help facilitate them through a process that feels easy and comfortable and fabulous rather than confusing. So that's how a coaching session works with me. And if you would like to have a free confident communication coaching call, the link is in the show notes. And it's literally what you just listened to with Caitlin. We sit and we have a conversation and I walk you through your stuff. You get it for free if you're willing to let me publish it on the podcast. If you don't want it published, if you're more of a quiet person, then I just ask for a fee. All of that is in the show notes. If you've got a question, if you also struggle with the sales process, if you would like to figure out how you can move from icky sales to conversational sales, then if you're listening or watching on Spotify, ask me the question below. If you're not on Spotify, then find me over on Instagram at Kat Matson. That's Kat with a C and Matson with a T in the middle. And just ask me the question. Ask me. I love to have conversations with my listeners because I've got to tell you, podcasting can feel a lot one way sometimes. And so I love it. I love it. I love it when you reach out and message me and ask me your questions or let me know what you thought of an episode. All of those links are in the show notes. And I think there's only one other thing that I'd love to ask you today. If you have enjoyed this episode, if you like this podcast, could you please help me reach more people by just leaving a comment or leaving a review on whatever platform you're listening on, or pass it on? Pass it on to your colleagues, to your friends, and say, hey, I was listening to this podcast and I reckon you might like it. Until next week, when I will be back with another episode, I wish you all the fun and joy in the world. And of course, here's to confidence and here's to impact. I'll catch you again soon.